King Solomon's wisdom. A story God grants wisdom to a humble king. In ancient times, when stars shone brightly over Jerusalem, there lived a young man named Solomon, son of the beloved King David. When David grew old, it was Solomon who ascended to the throne, though he had never expected such responsibility. He was young, perhaps only 20, and the weight of the kingdom settled upon his shoulders like a heavy mantle. The kingdom stretched from the great river Euphrates to the borders of Egypt, filled with countless people who looked to him with hope. Solomon would lie awake at night, wondering how he could possibly guide so many souls with wisdom and justice. One evening, Solomon traveled to Gibeon, a sacred high place, bringing 1,000 burnt offerings to God. The smoke rose like prayers into the evening sky, an act of devotion and humble seeking. That night, as Solomon slept, God appeared to him in a dream. The divine voice was both gentle and magnificent, like wind through ancient cedars. "Ask what I shall give you," God said. Imagine that moment. The Creator of all things, offering anything Solomon desired. He could have asked for long life, for riches beyond measure, for victory over all enemies. But Solomon thought not of himself, but of the people he served. With deep humility Solomon spoke. "You have shown great kindness to my father David. But Lord, I am only a little child. I do not know how to carry out my duties among your people, too numerous to count. So give your servant a discerning heart to govern your people and to distinguish between right from wrong." Solomon asked not for power or wealth, but for wisdom, for understanding, for the ability to listen and judge fairly. And God was pleased. "Because you have asked for this," God replied, "and not for long life or wealth or the death of your enemies, but for discernment in administering justice, I will give you a wise and discerning heart. There will never have been anyone like you, nor will there ever be. Moreover, I will give you what you have not asked for, both wealth and honor, so that in your lifetime you will have no equal among kings." When Solomon awoke, he understood this was no ordinary dream, but a divine encounter, a transformation. He returned to Jerusalem with thanksgiving in his heart. Soon the wisdom God had granted would be tested. 2 women came before the king, both claiming the same baby as their own. They lived together, and each had recently given birth. But one child had died in the night, and now both women claimed the living baby. The first woman pleaded, "My lord, this woman's son died, and she switched our babies while I slept. The living child is mine." The second woman shook her head. "No, the living one is my son." Back and forth they argued. There were no witnesses, no evidence, only 2 mothers and 1 living child. The court watched, wondering how anyone could determine the truth. Solomon sat upon his throne, listening carefully. Then he spoke with calm clarity. "Bring me a sword." A sword was brought, its blade gleaming. The crowd grew silent. "Cut the living child in 2, Solomon commanded, "and give half to one and half to the other." The first woman cried out immediately, her face filled with anguish. "Please, my lord, give her the living baby. Don't kill him." Her love overwhelmed her claim. But the second woman nodded coldly. "Neither I nor you shall have him. Cut him in half." In that moment, the truth became clear as daylight. Only a true mother would sacrifice her claim to save her child's life. Solomon raised his hand. "Give the living baby to the first woman. Do not kill him. She is his mother." Word of this judgment spread throughout Israel like wildfire. People stood in awe of Solomon, for they saw that the wisdom of God was truly in him to administer justice. The years that followed became a golden age. Solomon's wisdom grew like a great tree. He spoke 3,000 proverbs and composed over 1,000 songs. His knowledge of nature was vast. He could describe the cedar trees of Lebanon and the tiny hyssop plant in the walls. He taught about animals, birds, and fish. Kings from distant lands sent representatives to hear Solomon's wisdom. The Queen of Sheba herself made the long journey to test him with difficult questions, only to declare that his wisdom exceeded even the remarkable reports she had heard. Under Solomon's rule, the kingdom flourished. He built the magnificent temple in Jerusalem, a house for God crafted from the finest materials. Peace reigned throughout the land. Each person sat safely under their own vine and fig tree, an image of prosperity and contentment. Solomon's story reminds us that true wisdom is not merely intelligence or cleverness. Wisdom is seeing clearly, judging justly, acting righteously. It is humility before the divine and service to others. As you drift toward sleep, let this story settle into your heart. The young king who felt too small for his task became the wisest man who ever lived, not through his own strength, but through divine gift given to a humble heart. May you rest peacefully tonight, knowing that those who seek understanding with humble hearts will find it, and that true greatness comes from what we offer in service to others. Sleep well. Let the wisdom of Solomon's story carry you gently into dreams, as peaceful as those nights in ancient Israel when people rested safely, blessed by the reign of a king who chose wisdom above all things. Rest now. Let peace fill your heart as you drift into sleep, cradled by this ancient story of divine wisdom granted to a humble king. May you sleep peacefully,